my screen and we'll go from there. So in the meantime, if any question that you guys have.
Hi, can you repeat the phases?
Yeah, certainly I will do that. Okay. Okay, so today I'm gonna do two things. First, I'm gonna compare phases of agile and waterfall. Okay, and after that, I'm gonna uh, focus on agile. Okay, so in waterfall, we have okay. So I would like to kind of compare kind of apple by apple. Okay. Okay, so in waterfall we have like project team. Okay, and who we have in project team, who are the team member in project team? Project manager there is, then there is usually this is like one person. Okay, and then there is a business analyst, and mostly that is one person depending on the nature of how big is the project. And then there is a system analyst or architect, okay, or some technical person. Okay, and that is mostly like one person. Okay, then there are developers, okay, or programmers, same thing, like 4 to 6 uh, mm, persons. Okay, and then there are testers or QA or quality assurance analyst. Okay, and that is usually 3 to 5 persons. Okay, so this is what basically the team in the waterfall. Okay, while in agile we have like basically one product owner, one scrum master, and development team, which includes 5 to 7 people, including developers, testers, and any other technical person who actually have to work. And then we have the BA who works with product owner. Okay, and here we have uh, project manager, then we have a business analyst, we have system analyst, we have 4 to 6 developer, and 3 to 4 tester. And average size for this team is like kind of 10 to 10 to 15 people. That is the average size. While here is the size over here is 5 to 7 people. Okay, and 8 and 9 total, including Scrum Master, product owner. Okay, so and in waterfall this methodology is there is a specific characteristics of waterfall. Okay, so this is uh, phase gated, phase gated, or cascade like a waterfall. Okay, step by step. Okay, traditional methodology, which creates lots of documentation. Okay, this methodology creates a lot of documentation. Okay, examples, like business requirement document, then system specification document, then unit test cases, then test script. Okay, and then UAT scripts, and then mm, like project plans, project plans. Okay, and then there is a traceability metrics extra. So there is a lot of documentation in waterfall. Okay, while this methodology is agile, is it is iterative. Okay, means it is a time boxed. Okay, would develop in builds, or you can say chunks. Okay, instead of instead of building whole solution at a time. Okay, make sense? Okay, and while this is like phase gated, and then it has each phase starts only after the previous is complete. Okay, right, and over here there is less documentation. Okay, less documentation. Okay, so only document, like main document is just product backlog. That's it. product backlog. So not very plan intensive. Okay, it's, we don't do that planning as a, we do like an waterfall, that you have to project plan and then everything is gonna go in order. Okay, and so these are some of distinct characteristics. Okay, and in waterfall there are main phases: analysis phase, and then development or implementation phase. Okay, and then there is testing phase, and after that is like uh, deployment or release. All right, so main phases are like analysis, development, and testing. Okay, then analysis phase is further divided into two. Okay, two phases. What are those? Yes, come on guys, don't sleep.
It's business analyst and system analyst.
Right, two phases: business analysis and system analysis. Okay, good job.
So
And
the
then
waterfall method and agile method are different, right?
right, so these are two different ways of developing the softwares.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay, so we only use one methodology or one way to develop the software. Okay, so in business analysis,
So which is used mostly, like waterfall or agile?
waterfall is old methodology. It is been definitely used in most of the organization, and now organization is transforming from waterfall to agile. They are trying to convert from waterfall to agile. So at this point
Making
of time,
making less documents than the
right,
waterfall.
they are, yes, they are adopting agile methodology. Okay, so they are transforming currently. If they previously they were doing waterfall, now they are trying to do agile. Okay,
Right, right.
and again, uh, most of the organizations still have some of the business segment or some part of the organization, they are still doing waterfall, and most of the part they are doing agile. Okay, and this is organization wide decision what methodology the organization use.
So it is up to the project manager that what he use. Like,
No, no, it's not up to a project manager. Is a tiny person in the whole organization. Okay, so it's a basically organization leadership who decide what methodology, like CIO, chief, and that type C level executive who decide that what methodology organization will be using. So,
okay.
mhm. So in business analysis has two: business analysis, BRD is the outcome, and system analysis, SSD is the output, basically system specification document. Okay, and then development phase, and here is like a unit test cases, and then you know coding coding and playbooks. So these are the outcome for this phase. Okay, means they develop in units, and they test each unit and then integrate those unit. So whenever they write the code, they test the code, and they that testing is called unit testing. And then you know after that whole code is done, then they sometime also create playbooks, means that which that is code specific, means where they have made changes, and so that in future when somebody will try to fix something and relook, so they will have instructions that how the code was written and how that was implemented. So that is called the playbook. So these are the documents that development team also prepare. Okay, and then in testing there are test cases and test scripts. Okay, so that's what being prepared during the testing phase, and that is done by QA usually. Okay, so these are the basically phases that is in waterfall. Okay, while if we will see in agile, okay, so we have a different way of doing it. Okay, so in agile we time box, and we call this that time box sprint or iteration. Okay, and that sprint or iteration is 2 weeks, which mean that 10 days. Okay, and that 10 days we have uh, basically events that is happening. Okay, for example, we have a sprint planning that is happening on the day one. Okay, so on the day one we have a sprint planning that is happening. Okay, while we don't have the way things been done like in waterfall, so we are doing it in a different way. Okay, so day one sprint planning, and then day second till day 9 there's activity that happens daily, and that is called daily stand up. Okay, and then there is a sprint review that is happening on the last day of sprint. Okay, and then there is another meeting that is happening on the last day that is called sprint retrospective. Okay, so that is also happening on the last day of sprint. Okay, sprint retrospective, right? And we don't have phases, we just have sprints. So sprint is like kind of it is iterative. So maybe like there will be and it is 2 week, so there will be time box of kind of 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, and then another 2 weeks, and then another 2 week, and then another 2 weeks. Okay, and
Who is setting this 2 weeks time? Like, who is setting the timeline?
this timeline is set by the development team and the scrum master set up that. Okay, and whole team work, and it's when it start it doesn't break, like 2 weeks from for example it's starting from Monday, so every other Monday new sprint is starting. Okay, so it continuously like go. So That's how. So each sprint there is something, at the end of each sprint there is some of the functionality being built. Okay, so some of the functionality being built on at the end of each sprint. Okay, for example, like this functionality built, and then this functionality built, then this functionality built, then this functionality built. Okay, so this is how, while in here, until the testing is complete, we don't know what functionality is being built. It's everything happens when the testing is complete. Okay, while here every 2 weeks we can see what functionality been built, and if the stakeholder doesn't like, there is like doesn't there's not a huge loss because it's just 2 weeks. Okay, they can fix it. But after 9 months, if they ask for like motorbike and they got tricycle, to fix the tricycle into motorbike will take a lot of more time and money. Okay, so this is like different advantages and disadvantages of using methodology. But
So,
again, this
so
methodology is being used as organization wide. So you don't only need to know what methodology is being used. It's not, are not part of any decision making that what we they should use or not. Okay, now question.
there is no timeline in waterfall.
There is in water, okay, so you think about it and tell me, is there no timeline in waterfall? Waterfall is a very comprehensive, the first step of the planning, they build the project manager
Yeah.
build the timeline. Okay,
Time waterfall depends upon the timeline.
exactly. There's a whole
First,
huge planning that is happens in the waterfall. So that in that planning, the main thing is like the building the timeline, and then building the project basically milestone as per that timeline. So
within waterfall, I mean, fix the different phases. I mean, focus on the different phases: initial, analysis, design,
we
template.
use different phases to build we build the software using different phases. Okay, in different phases.
Mm.
So those phases definitely they are being there is a timeline attached to each
Yeah,
phase.
yeah,
It's like, right.
yeah.
But only difference is like if this project is like 9 months, so the timeline everything will be like across like a month 1 to month 9. Okay, while we won't be able to see what has been built. Okay, till month 9. Okay, we can only the stakeholder only is able to see after all the phases are complete. Okay, but here is
Okay.
different. Say stakeholder every other week, every 10 days, 10 working days, every 2 weeks, the stakeholder can see what they have built. So we are building in chunks. In agile we are building in chunks instead of there, for example, if there are like 10 features. Okay, and these are the 14 features that going to be built in here like in 9 months. Okay, if the same project we are doing in waterfall, we're building like 2 features in one sprint. Okay, maybe like 2 features in second, 2 features in third, 3 features in fourth. So just like that. Okay, while and every other sprint we can see what how many features are being built, and what is being done. Okay, the customer can see, they can give the feedback. But in like waterfall, the customer cannot see until everything is done. And after that, to kind of fix that, if it is not according to what they want, then to fix that will take way much more time and resources. maybe to fix that they may need another like 6 months to work on it. Okay, but here if they build two features, it doesn't, they customer doesn't like it, just one, like one sprint loss, they can rework and build like three features in the next sprint. Okay, so that is just like a comparative advantage. All right, so this
I
the
have a
particular,
question.
sure.
When we talk about the agile and the waterfall, in waterfall we start everything from the scratch, initial to the deployment, right?
And same way we start like in agile, we start everything from the scratch. There is
Yes, because we need to, but we have to go through with that same, because whenever we start working in agile, whatever according to my concept. So if we are going to start from scratch to the deployment within, waterfall, then in agile everything is already developed over there, right?
that's
So,
totally wrong, and that's totally wrong concept.
oh,
Agile and waterfall are two different way of development, and each way of development, we start from the scratch. Okay, we
oh.
start from the scratch. It's not like everything was like developed and then agile and waterfall. That's a totally like wrong concept.
Oh, I was thinking might be it should be something developed over there. The system is
No,
already
it has
developed and
nothing to do. It's just like developing from scratch to final product.
no, but if the system is already developed, can we make changes using agile?
We can make changes using waterfall. We can make changes using agile. Okay, so it has nothing to do with like already exist with the existing system. There are three scenarios in system development. Either we are developing a brand new system, or we are making some enhancement in the existing system, or we are implementing some out of box solutions, that there is already some solution is there, we are just implementing it according to the customer need. So these three scenarios are in IT, and uh, these three scenario all fits like either we can do all the work in waterfall, or we can do all the work in agile. Okay, so they have nothing to do with their agile, have no dependency in that, that there should be like something being developed. No.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense?
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. So that is basically like so if we will again compare the team wise, so agile team has these members: product owner one person, scrum master one person, and development team that is 5 to 7 people. Okay, and then the BA, where BA fits like in what agile. Okay, so PO, BA is team up with product owner. Also we like call it PO. Okay, and create user stories, build backlog, help PO managing backlog. Okay, so this is basically like what basically business analyst like in agile BA does. Okay, make sense? Okay, right. So agile BA team up with the product owner and create user story and build backlog, and help managing the PO backlog. So backlog management, that's what the the BA does. So the main task is to creating user stories. Okay, the main task is, okay, this is the main task. And creating user story means documenting requirement. So this is documenting requirements in form of user stories. Okay, that is the main task of Agile BA. Okay, so as an Agile BA, when you're working, you what you do, you work with the product owner, team up with the product owner, and so again, all that traditional work you do the same way, you use the same skill set as you are working and using in waterfall. Only the style of working is different, the way of doing the task is different. In waterfall, as a BA, what you do, you basically, okay, or so first thing we covered that waterfall versus agile. Okay, and now we will be focusing on role, working as a agile BA and working as a waterfall BA. What is the difference? Okay, so as an agile BA in waterfall, what you do? Okay, as a BA in waterfall, so what you do, where you start?
You gather the you complete the requirement document.
There is very good, you complete the requirement document, but where you start, how you basically start and how you do it.
So BA have to communicate with the client and ask, like you said, 5 Ws.
Right, so right, you have to basically not when you start as a BA, the first thing you do, you need to understand what project you are working on, right? Don't jump into 5 step ahead. Go step by step. The first step is you need to know what project you are working. When you know what project you are working, and then second thing is, so this is common sense, like whenever you will be asked, hey, you will gonna work on the product, some project, first what your question will be, which project, right? First you need to know, and then second you need to understand what project is. Build your understanding going through existing documentation. Okay, that is the second step, going through existing documentation. And the third, you're gonna document the requirement. To whom you gonna document the requirement? If you don't know which people you need to involve, how you gonna just go straight, jump up and start gathering requirement? No, you can't. So first you need to know what people are there, that whom you gonna ask the question and document the requirement, the stakeholders. So third thing, you need to identify the stakeholders. Okay, and then you need to, after you identify the stakeholder, you understood a little bit of the project, then the fourth thing, you need to schedule meetings and start talking to them, start asking question. So there will be one meeting, some of they will tell you something about the some requirement, then third, fourth, maybe 10 meetings it will takes to fill up their business requirement document. All right, so all that will happen, and then you will complete the business requirement document, right? So whenever you're going to talk about, you're going to talk about that story in that order. Okay, because you cannot complete the second order before the first, right? If you don't know the project, how you going to document, how you going to do the stakeholder analysis, how you going to identify the stakeholder? Doesn't make sense, right? So that's what you have to understand and basically write it down and basically remember it. Okay, it is just common sense as doing any other project, even just like cooking something. Okay, so this is how you work as a BA and complete business analysis. Okay, as a BA in Agile, your job is to do the business analysis and create a business requirement document. How you do that? I just mentioned 4 steps. Okay, and what are the 4 steps? What is the first step?
Talk to the project manager, know about the what is the project, then you know the primary and secondary state, and then you schedule the meeting, and then you start creating the requirement document according to the company's requirement template.
Okay, that's good. So the first step is identifying the project and building understanding. Okay, and then second step is to identify stakeholders, and third step is to schedule requirement sessions with who? With stakeholders, right? And gather and document requirements. Okay, and then and our fourth would be creating business requirement document of those requirements. Okay, so from those requirements that you document, then creating a business requirement document from them. Okay, so this is what are 4 steps you do to create as a BA to do the business analysis, right? Okay, so let's see what is different in waterfall in Agile. When you're working BA as Agile, what is difference? Okay, so here your main job is to, what is your main job? Main task is to create document requirement in form of user stories. So there is a no long requirement document needed. Okay, so here what you do first, you already know who is the stakeholder. The project identification what you will be working, that is the same. Okay, and there is a no stakeholder identification steps over here. Okay, here what you do, you create wish list or preliminary user stories. So you just sit with the product owner, ask the product owner that what is the, you know, what you want, and they keep telling you, and you start, documenting that as a user, he want this, and for why he want that. Okay. And then as a third, when you have this like a preliminary user stories, and then next step here, you ask, next step over here is the prioritization. Okay. What is the prioritization? Out out high priority items, top 10 items. Items are user stories. Out of the wish list. Okay. So you ask the product owner, hey, what are the 10 most important, okay, the items that you want? What are the 10 most important user story you want us to build? Okay. And this is just the prioritization activity. And they will tell, okay, all right, I out of, I want this one, this one, this one. So you choose 10 most important. Okay. And then what is the next you do? That is similar activity as requirement gathering. The only difference is there is only one stakeholder. You sit with product owner, and each detail, document detailed requirement for each in form of user stories for all high priority items or user stories. Okay. So what that mean? You will basically, like, for each user stories you create, user story description along with acceptance criteria. Okay. Which mean uh, one line user story, and then acceptance criteria. Okay. So this is basically what do in the fourth step. Okay. Just create, like that user story that you already created, and just add the acceptance criteria. Okay. And all these user story will feed to, all these user story will feed to what? Backlog. So backlog is nothing, user story one, user story two, user story three, and user story. Okay. Backlog is just a placeholder, a document where you keep all those user stories. So you do these activity with the product owner and create that backlog. So that is your 90% work as a Agile BA. Okay. And if you will see, it's the same thing that you do over here. You create, you identify your project, what you're working, you build your understanding, and then you identify stakeholders who are, and then schedule session with them, gather and document requirement, and create that requirement document. Okay. And that is like, the 80% of your work in Agile, and 90% are in waterfall, and 90% in Agile. This is what you do as a BA. Okay. So that's what you need to kind of, this is when you're working as a BA, what you are doing. If the project is like a waterfall, so this is how you will drive 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. And there might be stories that you can expand, like how you gather the requirement, how you did the stakeholder analysis, how you basically work with the difficult stakeholders. Okay. How you work with people who are not like listening, how you work with people who are not attending the meeting, and you need requirement from them, how you do that. So all those difficulties and challenges, there will be stories for that. That will be this questions from the interview perspective. Okay. And so this is basically like the main job as a BA, either like in waterfall and Agile. Okay. And when you understand your role, this is what you will be doing. And that next thing you need to understand the basically methodology. Okay. So this will show how you do your job, but methodology will show how you do your job along with how you communicate with the other team members. Because in Agile team there is a product owner, you know how you communicate with the product owner, but there is Scrum Master and development team. What as a BA you have to do with them, what is they needed from you and what you needed from them. You need to understand that, right? To understand, you need to understand the methodology. Okay. So work wise, this is this building the backlog is your work, is your job as a BA. Okay. And then the team will be so when you have this backlog, you know uh, like top 10 user stories, then you detailed it, then product owner do an amazing thing. And what product owner then do, yes, what the product owner do next? Any idea? Any kind of guess?
Can you repeat that?
So what product owner do after you have done your fourth step, and there is a you have basically like a backlog with 10 detailed user stories. Okay. So that is being done. Then what's the product what product owner do while you have that ready?
But
So there might be 50 user story, but only 10 that is detailed, because everything will happen. It's not like you have to complete all 50 and then start.
we prioritize
You-
which user story is more important to complete first.
this already happened, lady. This already happened. You did 1, 2, 3, 4 step, and after that 4 step, when you did the third step, 10 you prioritized. Fourth step, you detailed that 10 user stories. You for each user story, you create the acceptance criteria. Now we have a backlog with 10 user stories which are kind of ready state, because it has a user story and it acceptance criteria. Okay. So that is that had happened. So then what the product owner is gonna do, product owner is gonna organize a refinement meeting. Okay. Product owner is gonna organize refinement meeting.
So the
Okay,
Scrum
and
Master then the refinement meeting. That's interesting.
so what happens in the refinement meeting? That should be the question. Like, what is refinement meeting? Okay, what happens in it? Okay, that is the basic question. Do you know that?
They discuss the details.
तुक्का लगाने की कोशिश कर रहे हो, like. So but that's good. So in refinement meeting, product owner, scrum master, and the development team, they, this, like, the whole scrum team, product owner, scrum master, development team, they get together. Okay, and they do basically these things. Okay, so this is also called a backlog refinement meeting. So product owner, the one story backlog you prepared, we're gonna go story by story, and you know uh, talk about each with the team. Okay, he gonna give overview of all the user stories one by one to the team. So each user story, and when I say team, means like development team, there will be, scrum master have to organize this meeting. So scrum master is basically coordinator, organizer for all that scrum events. Okay, and scrum master also helps the development team to communicate, and basically he is a servant leader. He is a servant leader to, development team. And anything that team need outside of this team bubble, scrum master is the go-to person. They have to go to scrum master. Scrum master will, like, get them what they need. Okay, and other than that, scrum master is also going to organize all the, scrum events. And one of the event, the first event that happens, that is the refinement meeting. Okay, and the refinement meeting means team work with this, product owner to build their understanding what these user stories are. Okay, so they build their understanding that what these user stories are and what is happening, and so they will understand, and then they would be able to, like, take that user story, analyze code, test, and deliver the functionality. Okay, so this meeting that happens after you have a backlog, 10 most important stories like defined, means each story has a acceptance criteria. And then refine scrum master organize refinement meeting. Product owner ask the scrum master to organize the refinement meeting with the team, so that they will be getting ready for sprint or delivery. Okay, so in that refinement meeting, product owner go over user story, team identify and discuss all questions they have related to that user story. Team identify if there is any technical story or some enabler story that is needed to be worked on. Means, like, if functionality they are developing it, they might need some infrastructure, you know which will are kind of a road, you can say a track on which that functionality will lay. Okay, so there might be some other work needed. So if there is any work needed to deliver that functionality, team identify that, and you know uh, product owner log that. And you as a BA, you are just sitting in the background. Okay, and seeing if there is any story that's needed to be logged. So you act as a scribe, means like just take notes related to if any new story needed to be logged. You just take note that this story need to be logged, and then kind of log that user story in the backlog. Okay, and team also discuss what they need to do, what task they need to do, and all that in that meeting. And team also do the sizing of that user story. Okay, so basically they empirically size that user story, that how much effort it will take and how complex it is. what is known and what is unknown. Based on these parameter, they size it, either t-shirt sizing, like, small, medium, large, extra large, this sizing, or maybe Fibonacci sequence, like 1 3 5 8, so they size the user story. So this, all these happen in the refinement meeting. Okay. And your job as a product on agile BA, do nothing, sit back, and if there is anything new stories log, note it down, and later on, work with the product owner. When you are, you have to continuously work with the product owner to keep, basically, documenting further stories. Okay. And that, during this meeting, that is what you do. Just, sit back, and if there's a new story logged in, just note it down. And later on, when you are working with the product owner to, create the user stories, or expand the user stories out of wish list, or break down those user story, then you document that story too. Make sense or not? Okay. So then next step is basically when the team starts, their sprint. Okay. And that is the time box, and then goes like sprint by sprint. Okay. Then, things goes sprint by sprint, like one sprint, next sprint, that's how, goes. Okay. So sprint 1, and then sprint 2, and then sprint 3. Each sprint, the things are being, done. And that's, basically, like, how it goes. So your job is still the same. You create user stories, document the requirement in form of user stories. The way of documenting the requirement is just like one form in agile: user stories. Okay. And then there are, in each sprint, there is 10 days, and there are, four more main meetings. Sprint planning meeting happens day one, first meeting of the day one. Okay. And in which the team basically pick up the user story out of the backlog, that what they can deliver in that sprint. Okay. So that is what happens, in sprint planning meeting. Okay. So sprint planning meeting. All right. So this is what is happening in planning meeting. Okay. This is what happening in sprint planning meeting. And then there are backlog refinement meeting. We already, discussed that, what is happening in the backlog refinement meeting. And then there is daily stand up. Okay. Daily stand up is basically meeting, where team, like all the teams, they huddle, and everybody answer, 3 questions. Okay. And what, when I say team, that means only developer. You as a BA, you don't do this thing, like, just like a, participate, enjoy, means, like, you don't have, like, actually anything to do, until unless if there is any change in requirement or something being, just be attentive that if anything is happening which is impacting the backlog, that you have to catch. Okay. So everybody answer 3 questions: what they have done, what they have done yesterday, and what they will be working on today, and then if there is anything blocking their work. Okay, so these are the three questions everybody, basically answers in that daily stand up. Okay, and why it is called like daily stand up. The idea is like everybody huddle for 15 minutes, and this is just like 15-minute meeting. It is also just like every meeting is time boxed, as like the whole sprint is time boxed. Every meeting is time boxed. Refinement meeting, it is like 4 hours in 2 weeks in one sprint. Okay, that is refinement meeting. And this planning meeting, this is also 2 to 4 hours per sprint. Okay, and then sprint review meeting. Sprint review meeting is basically where the team show what they have developed. They demo the work completed during sprint. So that is the sprint review meeting. Okay. And then retrospective sprint retrospective. Okay, and this is inspect and adopt meeting. Team review what went well and where are the challenges. And when I say team, that means development team, basically the people who are actually working as with their hands on writing the code. Okay, and you as a BA, what you do? You do nothing. Your job is only one thing: manage the backlog and you know uh, keep documenting the requirement. Okay, so you don't do anything, just attend those meetings and be with the product owner. Help the product owner where the product owner need help. Okay, so that's what basically like your job. Okay, make sense? I'm boring you guys, or you are getting everything I'm talking about? Anybody there? Okay, all right. So, is anything make sense?
But I didn't get the backlog. I'll ask you later.
What you didn't get in the backlog? Let's like discuss and get it clear right now.
Because I was disconnected, so that's why I didn't get it.
Okay. So, anybody can explain what is the role of a BA in Agile? Okay, Malika, is she here? Because I'm not looking at the participant list.
So to identifying project and understanding the building
Yeah, good, good.
and identify the stakeholders and schedule requirement sessions and gather documents requirements and creating
I'm
BRD.
not asking about the reading. I'm asking, what you understood. What is the role of a
Yeah,
BA?
yeah, I'm that. I'm not reading it from an
Okay, all right. So the 4 steps. in agile, working in agile, you follow that 4 step, and you uh, build, basically you build the backlog. And when I say build the backlog, means first you create a wish list, list of 10, whatever the number of your user stories that the product owner told you. And also we are talking about user story. What is user story basically? Okay, so user story is the way of writing the requirement with the user perspective. And as a user or role, it can be a system user, it can be like business user, what I want and why I need it. So this is the style of writing, you know. So this is basically like a template, you can say, to create that user story or wish list.
Who is asking this? Like what I want, why I need. The
You are
stakeholders.
asking to the product owner that and product owner is telling you, like, as a user, as a system user, this is what I want, and that's why I need. Okay,
Okay.
so
Mm,
you write it. So this is one user story. Okay, and
mm.
this what and why is the answer, like, it can be like, as a user, I want to view this feature so I can do this uh, activity, or this I can perform this action. So it can be anything, like, from the business perspective, from the user perspective. For example, if, like, writing a requirement for, say, this is like as a user, I want to see there is like a flight icon over here, so I can click on the flight icon. This is one user story. Okay, then as a user one, I click on the flight icon, it should take me to the next page, so I can view that, where the cheap flights. Okay, and as a user, I want to the capability to search different flights. Okay,
So every click is having a timeline, like, or
what you talking about?
what are you talking about?
I'm talking about the user story. Like,
Yes, I am also talking about the user story.
so what with
Uh,
the timeline?
like you said, on one click, I have to click on the
Talking
airplane
about
button.
the functionality the user need. It can be anything, whatever that, like, if somebody is like working in a real estate system, it can be according to the real estate system. I'm just giving an example that
Mm,
what is meaning of what and what is meaning of why. So you
okay.
just fill up this what and why, and you
Mm,
will have that your basically user story.
okay, okay. I got it.
This is user story template. Okay, and I was giving the example that what it means. And just like that, you create first the wish list, like, second user story, as a user, this is what what and then, you know and user story, whatever the number. So this will be like a wish list. All right, this will be customer wish list or product owner wish list, and that is the second step. Okay, after you have that wish list, after, like, maybe like 50 user stories. Okay, then out of those 50, you will like ask, like, what are the top 10 you want, and you put those top 10 into the backlog. And then for each user story, you will do like you document the user story, and then write down the acceptance criteria. Okay, that is the fourth step. Okay, so this is the user story. and then you write down acceptance criteria. And what is the acceptance criteria? It is verify statements that user got what they wanted. So this is the acceptance criteria, that these are multiple statements which verify that user got what they wanted. Okay, for example, if the user want this icon, so what would be the acceptance criteria? Okay, the acceptance criteria will be, uh, there will be a flight icon present in the menu. One, verify that flight icon is present. Second, when
Mm.
you bring the cursor on the flight icon, it should change to like hand. Then third, when you so that will show it is clickable. It's then third, it should be clickable. Verify that the icon is clickable. Then fourth, verify that when you click on the icon, it should take to the next page. So all that will be acceptance criteria for this user story, which we say like,
Mm.
hey, we do exercise like,
Yes, that's why I was asking that
okay,
every
Ari, you got that. You got that. You just don't interrupt. Just like
sorry.
try to just digest it, and then we will further discuss that question. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. As a user, I want the icon, flight functionality in my website, so I can check the price. So this is basically user story. Okay, if we will change this into a user story would look like that. Okay, and this will be the user story statement. User story. Okay,
Mm.
sometimes we call this description. Okay, and then the next is basically acceptance criteria.
ये क्यों ऐसे हो रहा है? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, sorry, my mistake. Go ahead, please.
Focus on, guys. Like, I'm working hard over here, and you guys are like, I don't know what you guys are doing. Or do you want me to like, make you guys, turn on your camera so I can keep an eye on you guys? That's not like, okay.
Can we get the copy of that as well?
No, you cannot get the copy. You have to focus. You have to learn now. You're not like getting the copy. So focus.
Mm.
Okay. Acceptance criteria is what would be the verification statement.
Verification statement, yeah.
Right. So it will be verified that there is flight icon present in the menu. Second, so this is basically the product owner is gonna give you. Okay. So what you want? So you will ask the product owner, hey, what you want to verify? How you wanna make sure that you got this functionality? These are the questions you will ask. Then product owner will give you like, okay, I believe that verify that there should be a flight icon in the menu. Okay, menu bar. And then he will like probably tell them, okay, when when you you okay, icon should be clickable, that when you can click like bring it and click it, and uh, when you bring cursor to the icon, it should change to hand sign. Okay. And then what would be, so you guys got that idea. Okay.
Yes.
And by clicking on that icon, a new page should open. Okay. So this is basically like, how the user stories are being written. Okay. And when you have so for that, you just have to schedule the meeting with the product owner to basically uh, finish this user story. And this backlog will have 10 of these items, just like that. Maybe like their criteria can be 10 points,
Can I
depend
ask now?
depending on what the nature of the project. And the backlog is just a place where all these users these are living. Yes, now you can ask.
10 user stories?
Good question. So I told you that you have to prepare a wish list. It might contain 100 user stories. Like everything that product owner wants, you note down on that list. And that list is just one line statement. Like one, as a user, I want a flight icon. As a user, I want like search icon. As a user, I want like hotel icon. As a user, I want a Mercedes icon. As a user, I want BMW icon. I want car icon. So everything that they wish, you document it in to the wish list. So wish list is your basic inventory of what user want. Okay. And out of that wish list, you ask the product owner to prioritize what's the 10 most important. And in those 10 most important, probably you will say, okay, I want like flight icon, I want like a hotel icon, I want just one car icon instead of and I want like vacation icon, I want like a more icon. And in which like, uh, so I want like a top deals, I want this. So all those all those are coming out of the wish list. you know so did I answer your question?
So one wish list is one user story,
Ah,
right? Sorry if I
no,
if I'm
no.
sorry.
Wish list is a list of all the user stories. So that is the parent like list. First, you just ask the user that. Again, you're not focusing on. If you've been focusing, this question shouldn't be like first,
Or-
second, you create a preliminary user stories. These are the preliminary user stories.
Hmm.
These are just a list of user story, all that they want. And then backlog is subset of this.
Okay, I got it. So this is the
So
wish list, and we on in one wish list we more than
all are
10 user
user.
stories.
You can
Yeah.
create 200 user story, whatever
Oh,
the
Yeah.
business product owner want. You
hmm.
put that,
I
but
got it. I got it.
right. And then that's the third step. This because you are at the second step to create that wish list. Okay. First you created the wish list, and then out of that wish list you went down and get it prioritized. Means you cannot deliver all 200 functionalities that they want. You want them to, the team should start with most important. And that's where what you get the prioritized items. And the 10 top items like you get it prioritized. And then out of those prioritized items, you start from the topmost. And sit with the product owner and detailed each user stories, and write it in form of user story with acceptance criteria. And this will go into the product backlog. So each thing you will like detail, go into the product backlog. So product backlog will have at least 10 user stories. When the team can start work. Team means agile team. Okay, make
So
sense?
basically,
Yes.
the wish list is a bibliography, and then
No, it's no bibliography. Again, like don't try to take it like it's not a bibliography. It is just basically what they want. Means you're not still not focusing. I said like as a, product owner, they may want like 100 things. So you document that 100 thing. But wish list. What is wish list? Wish list is like something they just wish that they would have, but
wish list is basically the documented list of all whatever the wishes of them.
what they want, right?
Right. Okay.
Okay, so they are not going to get everything what they want. So we want to prioritize their wish list, that hey, you cannot get like 100 wishes. You can get only top 10. So tell me what's the top 10. And then each wish list will turn into our user story and acceptance criteria. Make sense?
Okay.
Okay, so now I will like just so this is basically all when you work as a like agile BA. Okay, so today's session was it's covered both like working as a like agile BA compared with waterfall. So role like waterfall versus agile as a methodology, that comparison we done in the beginning. Then we role wise, BA role in waterfall, BA role in agile, that what we covered. And then we covered a detailed role of a BA in agile, what 4 steps that BA have to do when they are working in agile. 1 2 3 4, pretty simple. And then we detailed in agile, when the BA is working, how they will start their work and what they have to do. They're 1 2 3 4. Okay, so if you guys can basically digest that, means like really focus on and understand this, you are almost ready to basically go for next step.
Mhm. Are we done with this class right now?
Yeah, so we are done. So I will send this basically video. I'll upload and send it, and this is you guys have to watch this like 120 1 hour and 22 minutes long video, and that's you guys have